you I was hoping to catch you.
Yeah,
Good to see you, man.
I see you everywhere.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah.
It all started with this guy, though.
Like you're killing it.
I appreciate it, man. I want to be the comic guy of the internet.
Oh, you're killing
Rolling?
it.
Internet, hello, you absolute lovelies. Last week, I got to host the Spider-Man Brand New Day creator event alongside Naz Perez at the Lighthouse, where we paired tons of incredible filmmakers that brought Brand New Day to life with the next wave of creators. It was a really special day, and as part of that Brand New Day, I got to sit down with Spider-Man director Destin Daniel Cretton and ask him all sorts of nerdy questions, and I wanted to share that right here with you. I'm Coy Jandreau, sitting down with Destin Daniel Cretton to talk about my favorite character in all of fiction. How are you, man?
I'm doing very well.
I love that when I've read comics, I think about directing the space between the panels, and that's how I experience a comic book, is those beats for me to direct. But now you've actually directed panels and brought those to us. When you read a comic, has it changed how you visualize, or is that always how you saw those panels?
I mean, comics are in a lot of ways they almost feel like storyboards. So I think the human brain does fill in the gaps, which is, you know, as a kid you're looking at one image and then another, and you fill in that whole gap. So for this movie, it was a really fun experiment to take some of those initial stills and just tell a little more of a piece of that story. That would be our version. It doesn't mean that it's everybody's version, but it's our version of what could have happened just before and just after that frame.
That's comics to me. Like it's the interpretation of like what the art in the moment is. And for me, with your work, there's this great use of the Z-axis with Shang-Chi that I was so obsessed with, the ability to do action in a totally different way. And then years later with Wonder Man, there's this almost action directing to the dialogue that allows so much energy. And to me, those are the two key elements of Spider-Man, is the dialogue feeling as important as the action. I was wondering which helped inform this take more, or if there's anything you learned on either that helped prepare for this.
I mean, Shang-Chi was definitely a huge exercise in action design because I've never been a part of that process before that. Wonder Man, I think, was a wonderful reminder that you can tell these types of stories and still have the mentality of an indie filmmaker, you know,
Yeah.
where you can just kind of throw the rules out and try to go against expectations. So taking both of those lessons into Spider-Man and having somebody like Tom Holland who is able to do real acrobatic moves physically and also do acrobatic moves with his verbiage and dialogue. He's just he's a man of all traits. And the performance that he does in this movie really made everything very easy for me.
He was born to be Spider-Man, and it's so beautiful to see a lack of face shell and experience like him being Spider-Man. And I honestly, the movie's coming out in 2 weeks, and I've avoided as much as I could for spoilers. So this question is as a comic fan. So this isn't me looking for a scoop, but I love that this feels like the Bronze Age that I really came up with. There's a lot of like Jerry Conway and Sal Buscema and characters that I didn't think I'd ever get to see because everyone talks like Silver Age or Ultimate Spider-Man era. There's a certain window when Jean DeWolff was announced. Like I couldn't fathom the fact that we're going to get a Jean DeWolff. So I'm wondering the like chicken or egg, was there a story you had conceived that you wanted to tell that happened to apply to a certain style? Or was there you coming up with a certain era that you then wanted to tell a story within?
Oh my gosh. I wish that more people could experience what happens in the writer's room. Because it does become virtually impossible to know which came first. There are so many things up on the wall. There are so many ideas flying around. This character would be cool. That character would be cool. We go down a route for 3 weeks thinking that that's going to be our main villain, and then it kind of falls apart, and then another idea pops up. There are so many comic book covers and references all over the room, and sometimes you just come to work that day, you don't know what it's going to be, and you stumble and you say, maybe Jean DeWolff should be in this. And so I hope fans will feel that there is a lot of Spidey lovers in that room. There are who are all trying their hardest to make the best movie, and all of these ideas just kind of swim around until they find their way to the surface.
It feels like pure Spider-Man love in every trailer, every bit of footage I've seen or avoided. And in that same vein, there's so much Spider-Man to mine from. There's, Web of, amazing, spectacular, sensational, and there's 60 years of so many of these runs, but there's so many favorites that you can attach to. I think that tells your personality. He's kind of a Rorschach test of like how you identify. And between him fighting Juggernaut or Flowers for Rhino or any of these eras, is there anything that you'd love to recommend to people that might not feel like comics are for them? Is there like a gateway Spider-Man that you're like, this is a great comic?
I mean, if people have not read anything, they should read the OG.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I actually came to the world of Spidey very late in the game because my mom was growing up was anti-TV and anti-comics.
Wow.
So I didn't, when I went off to college, because I grew up on Maui, when I went off to college, I didn't know who Bob Dylan was. I didn't know pop culture. I didn't know. It was a very interesting childhood. And so I got exposed. I remember when I got to TV or when I got to college, that was when the Boondock Saints VHS was circling around, and I popped that in. And I was like, so anyway, I came to everything late in the game, and so I've been every movie that I make, I feel like I'm a student again, and this was definitely one of those.
That's so beautiful, man. That's such a unique take for such pop culture centric characters that feel so lived in. But you're like the childhood mind. Like there's that malleability of it.
For sure. I think curiosity is a powerful tool when it comes to being a director, and I surround myself with the people who have devoured this their whole lives, and I love it, and I learn, and then I choose the things that I think belong in this movie, and that's what you see.
So there you have it, folks. Sitting down with Destin Daniel Cretton himself. I adore this guy's work. I think Wonder Man and Shang-Chi are amongst the best stuff the MCU has put out. I am so happy he's the guy taking care of my favorite character in all of comics and all of fiction, Spider-Man. I love his perspective on the character. I love finding out how he came to discover the character, when that happened, how they're picking which characters are in here, his love of the actual medium of comics. This interview, I was so just honored to get to do. I'm hoping we get to sit down again after the movie is out, because there are so many things I didn't want to know, but once I've seen the film, there's so much I must know. And the way he sees Spider-Man is so unique, so I really want to have that conversation after the film. But if you are waiting to see some more before the movie comes out, I have done a ton on this page already. I have made a what to read before or after Spider-Man Brand New Day, the comics I think influenced the film. This is based off my own experience of 60 years worth of comic books. I'm not 60, but I've read 60 years worth of Spider-Man. Those comics are all based around these characters we've seen, the storylines teased, all of that. That video is available right here in this page. Also did a suit breakdown of how I think the suit was developed in universe, like how Tom Holland's inspiration from certain other elements of Toby and Andrew's suit. Also got lots of trailer breakdowns here. Got an actual video about why I think Brand New Day in particular is a great era to adapt into this particular era of MCU Spider-Man. And then, of course, as the film comes out, I'll have a non-spoiler review up as soon as I can, probably the next morning. I think that's when embargo is after seeing the film, which is coming up. I'm seeing it Monday, a week from you probably watching this video or thereabouts. And then a spoiler review that weekend, as well as lots of coverage of comic book references, Easter eggs, covering the box office, lots of stuff in this page. So if any of that sounds like your cup of tea, please hit that subscription bell. Please like this video, and please let's have a conversation in the comments below. What did you think of my interview with Destin Daniel Cretton? What did you think of what he had to say about the Bronze Age, about coming into comics later, about the way he decided to go pick certain things? There's so much to mine from this interview, and I adored sitting down with the man, and I cannot wait for this film. July 31st will be a brand new day with Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I cannot wait. Thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Bye.